Athens, welcome to the Classic City Business Podcast. Our mission, to connect our community to the local business owner. If you love Athens and love supporting the people behind our businesses, then you're in the right place. We get to know the people behind the sign. Some are legends, others are on their way. You're listening to the Classic City Business Podcast with your friend, your host, all-around great guy and owner of Generations Commercial Cleaning, John Gluck. So get ready, buckle up, hang on, here we go. Hello Athens, welcome to the Classic City Business Podcast. I'm your host, John G. And today we're connecting our community to the ladies, the women behind Business Reboot. So we're going to start off, Melissa, Corry. Corry, I believe I asked you to go first. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your business,
yes,
what you do. And then I'm going to get Melissa to do the same thing. Then let's tell them about the reboot and how all that came together. Can we do it that way?
Yeah, we surely can. Absolutely. Right. So thanks so much for having us. I want to start off by saying thank you, John. We so appreciate it. I am not in Athens. I am actually located on the coast of North Carolina, just north of Wilmington. But I feel like I am a kindred spirit with Athens. So I have been visiting quite a bit lately, visiting with Melissa, working with Melissa. And my brother actually lives close to Athens. So I'm there quite a bit. But my name is Corry Frazier, and I am a brand photographer and a branding expert and coach. And so I got my start years ago. I've been in photography since 2008 when we were living on the shores of Oahu. My husband was a 30-year Marine, just retired a year or so ago. So we literally have lived all over the world, currently calling the coast of North Carolina home. But right now in my business, I work mostly with small business owners. And so really telling their brand story through impactful brand images. I think we all know that the online space is where business is at as far as your marketing and branding purposes go. And then that helps people find who you are, find out what you do, and then hopefully lead them into either your physical space or your online business to work with you. And so we know the impact of brand visuals, and it's super powerful. And so that's really what I specialize in now and work with mostly. And then also coaching those clients that I work with on how to use their brand visuals, how to get the biggest bang for their buck, and where they should go. Content buckets. What kind of content are you creating? How to really tell the story of who you are, what you do, but most importantly, who you serve and what it looks like to work with you. So that's really what encompasses Corry Frazier photography in this current season.
Just that little, that's all you do.
That's it.
That was awesome. So Melissa, you want to follow that?
I do, but here's the deal, John, is I haven't had my full cup of coffee yet. And Corry,
well, let's take a 5-second break.
Speed over here. Okay, one sip. Pause, please. There's that. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so I am Melissa Pepin. I have owned a photography company in Athens since 2006. I don't actually shoot much anymore, so sorry for that false advertising, but I spent a decade.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes, Melissa.
I know.
I'm sorry, you have to stick to it.
Sorry. I shot weddings. I was predominantly a wedding photographer in Athens for a decade and a half and did the wedding scene. I was the president for Athens Wedding Professionals and did a lot of time connecting in with different organizations in town through the Junior League and things like that, where I just got really connected to the city, and it made me fall in love with business here. About 2 years ago, and I'd been mentoring, I'd been speaking at different events and conferences and retreats. And 2 years ago, I decided to launch a coaching business to use my years and years of expertise in running a business and being a solopreneur to help women build businesses more confidently. So I am currently a confidence coach for female founders. And what that means is women who have businesses, we don't realize how massively our confidence affects our bottom line. It affects how we rest. It affects how we pursue new leads. It affects how we charge for our services. And I'm not just talking about the, like I feel a little bit bad about myself type situation. I'm talking about core confidence, knowing who you are, having a clear vision for who you serve, and walking in the power of what you do so aligned that it grows and catapults your business and helps you to serve the best for yourself, but also serve the best for the people that you're actually working with. So It is really wonderful. And that's actually how Corry and I started our business together, was that I'd done like an all call just online to talk about money mindset and some things that can really impact entrepreneurship. You know, when we have poor mindsets around our money, our communication, how we feel about ourselves, how we interact with other people, it can just be detrimental to how we serve our clients. And so I did an all call, and Corry messaged me. And we had been involved in a business together before that, just like off and on. And we'd been interacting for years together through whether it was ministries or different retreats and conferences that we'd both been a part of, but we never stepped into a business space together in this kind of way. And she reached out to me about something, and I was like, I can help you with that, but here's the deal. I think we see a bigger problem that you and I could solve together. So why don't we do that instead? And she said, okay.
Let's do it.
So I was going to ask, like, how you guys, you know, what that interface looked like. So you guys knew each other prior to this venture, casually.
We knew of each other.
We knew of each other, yes, kind of. It wasn't like we were dear friends and had known each other for years. We knew each other in specific circles of business, retreats, ministry, that sort of thing.
Okay, that was actually where I was going to go, Melissa. You basically answered like 3 of my questions I was going to ask you, so you took me off.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Melissa, a lot.
So, Corry, from your perspective, then, what was that conversation like? Like, hey, she's reaching out to you, or you're reaching out to her about one specific thing, and you're like, hey, there's a bigger picture here. When she's pitching this to you or bringing it up, what's going through your mind at that time?
Well, it's one of those things that, and I want to impress upon all of your listeners that one single conversation can lead to an entirely new business. I mean, like have the conversations, get in the circles with people that, you know, are aligned with some of the things that you're aligned with. So Melissa and I had that conversation, oh gosh, you know, probably 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And as we're talking, we're realizing, hey, wait a minute, like this goes beyond this initial conversation that we're having. We are seeing the same holes or the same problems that other small business owners, especially female founded businesses, we're seeing these topics and these pain points and these struggles come up time and time again. Also, because we had been to retreats. Similarly, we've been to workshops in the similar, let's say, realm or vein of education. We were like, you know what? There's something that might be missing. The more we talked, the more we realized that there were different ways to serve than we're currently being served in certain ways. And so we said, why don't we continue this conversation over the next couple of months and let's see where it goes. And as we would talk every single time, we were like, okay, this is something important that we have in our hands, and we feel very driven to bring this message and this style of education, this style of support, the style of leadership to the forefront, and let's see who else feels called to it and could be served by it.
So before we jump to the next segment, then let's talk about that. What is that vision? What is that pain? What is that need that you're feeling? Give us an example of what that looks like. What maybe you saw that said, hey, look, there is a gap here, and we think that we can fill it. What does that look like?
Well, the pandemic hit, and we saw people, because Corry and I are like the old ladies in the photography industry, in the creative industry, where we'd been doing it for, I mean, you don't normally hit double digits when you do this kind of work. And we sat down in a conversation, like her on her floor, me on my floor, and us on video. And we said, man, 2020 just wrecked so many people. And for the kind of work that we were doing, it was at a complete halt. When you can't, you know, when you're not supposed to leave your house, you cannot go take pictures. And so we said, you know, started looking around, and then all of a sudden another year passed, and it was 2021. And we started seeing creative entrepreneurs who had been at the head of the game. They were the leaders. They were the only faces that you would see who were talking about progress in our industry and in creative industries as a whole, because it wasn't just photographers. It was writers and bloggers and designers and, you know, graphic designers and all kinds of things. We saw them, these industry leaders, closing their door, saying, I'm burnt out. This is hard. Everything's terrible. I hate this. We're done. And we said, hold on, wait. What has happened is they have fallen out of love with the back end of their business. They can't make the numbers work. They are banking on, in some cases, popularity instead of actual solid content. Like, you can only fluff your way for so long and repeat the same things for so long and speak to the same audience for so long, before they can, it becomes predictable what you're going to say. And so we started seeing these people fall off, and we were like, this is what happens when you have industry leaders and they're kind of in an echo chamber, and they're the only ones that are speaking to people. We know that there are places and there are people that need to be served that feel intimidated by this type of leadership. We know that there are people that need to be served that could step into leadership that aren't normally given a chance. And we just want to help people fall in love with the back end of their business, feel really solid with things like their contracts and all the legal things and all the tax prep and all the strategy and the mindset work that it takes to run a business for longevity. And if we can show them how we've done it, because again, we started a really long time ago. Social media had just started. I remember when people started blogs and people were calling me saying, you really need to start a blog. And I was like, I do not want to do that, but I did. And so I started a blog in 2006, and it is all the things that now, like, we're seeing a resurgence of business being done the way it used to be. And we realized, like, most of the people who started when we did are gone. So it's time for us to step up and show people how we used to do it and how they can continue to do it, because that structure and that foundation leads to longevity. And that's what we want for people.
And we also noticed that people were not diversifying their income within their businesses. And that was something that Melissa and I have been doing for years, because when the pandemic hit, if you were, let's just say, a photographer, and you were solely bringing in income by working face-to-face with clients, and you didn't have any other offer that you could do, or you couldn't, in a real pinch, which was hashtag pandemic, if you could not pivot and figure out a way to serve those clients within the legal, rules of your state, your town, your district, wherever you lived, you needed to be able to continue working and continue bringing in income. And so we noticed that there were a lot of, especially female-owned businesses, that did not diversify their income, did not diversify their offers enough, did not have things tiered out to where they could continue operating even during really, really hard seasons, whether it's a family season or whether it's a personal health season or whether it's a global pandemic season. Like, we are really, really passionate about survival with your business through all the seasons that you're going to face. And we've been in it long enough to have ridden the wave of many seasons in our lives and our businesses. And so that was another thing with the reboot that we were very, very in our intention was there to make sure that people could take a bird's eye view of their business and say, where else can I create revenue streams within these offers that I currently have? Or maybe I need to create some new offers. So that's something that we really work through our business reboot.
So when I was reading some of this, some of my audience knows I have dyslexia. So when I read, I have to be very intentional and look at it. And when I looked down, I was reading some of this stuff, and I was being kind of quick, to be perfectly honest. And I was reading fall back in love with your business. And I don't know if I read that correctly, because you just said something. It was about falling in love with the back end of your business. So right. Are both of those statements true? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Right.
So you said something to me that there's obviously a lot of wisdom in diversifying anything, your business, your products. You talked about that. Did I hear you correctly? Were you guys kind of on top of this? How did 2020 affect you going in terms of adjustment? Were you already kind of diversifying what you're doing, or was this when the problem was like, oh my gosh, we need to do this? And is it different for either of you? Does that question make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, we both were diversifying what we had. We were working with another company, like helping sell their products. We had both plunged ourselves into education in other ways before. And truthfully, we'd even tried other partnerships before. Well, Corry had tried other partnerships, and it's not that they didn't work. It just wasn't the right time. Like, that was, we will be the first people to tell you that there is absolutely a spiritual component to your business. And we felt like at that moment, God was like, no, it will work, because we both had this deep desire to do business with someone else. But it took a lot of stepping out on our own individually before that came to fruition for us. And so, yeah. And to go back to the falling in love with your business, it is about falling in love with how you serve instead of selling, but how are you serving? You have to love that part. How do you fall in love with the back end of your business? You cannot be afraid of things like your numbers. You cannot be afraid of things like the strategy, systems. If you are a Corry, the word system makes you break out in hives. And and I don't like it either, but we laugh because we were like, there's so many things that we do that we didn't realize we were doing for years. And systems was one of them. And so we realized that if you get afraid of those things, taxes, if you want to bury your head in the sand during tax season, which was always my story for like years and years and years until about 3 years ago.
Hey, Chad Brown.
I know. Look, Chad, he sent me an email yesterday. He sent me an email yesterday and was like, "Are you asking questions before we file?" I'm so proud. And I was like,
I know the pupil.
Okay, right. But then also it's about pivoting and being able to add to what you currently offer. And one other big component, because we talk strategy, we talk mindset in the business reboot, but one big thing is we talk about how to love the life that you're living. Like, we work our tails off running businesses. And people will always say, I'm doing it so that I can have a better life. I'm doing it so that I can spend time with my family. I'm doing it so, and then they never actually do that thing.
They're so caught up in the work of it, right?
Right. And so we realized that if we can help them too with mindset and strategy and creating systems and helping them figure out how to diversify, they will beat burnout, which then in turn leads to more creativity. It will allow you to realize that your business is a faucet. It's like a dozen faucets. And when one idea doesn't work, you can pick up the next. They say every millionaire has 7 streams of income. And I will tell you, between Corry and I, we have like 917 business ideas, from like a t-shirt line to like anything that if something happens and it doesn't work, we know exactly where to pick up. And you don't get the opportunity to do that when you are completely burned out and you hate what you're doing because you're not tending to the parts that need attention.
Which is yourself.
Yeah, yourself, working on yourself, working on getting things structured and organized in your business. That feels really hard when you don't have a bird's eye view of it. But if you can just pull back a little bit, alignment, it's like such a buzzword, such a like cheesy buzzword, but it's something that Corry and I have become acutely aware of in our lives. And anytime we go, this doesn't settle, then we go, let's pause and let's think about it. And then we can move forward when we have the peace about it. And so that's like the big thing, is we want to encourage people to move forward in your business in peace, but also pour into yourself, pour into the parts that are important, that are going to move the needle in your business. And that's going to allow you to build other things that will help you diversify. So to get back to that, like, we both had been running in pivots for years and diversifying for years, but we realized other people that wasn't as common as we thought that it was.
Well, I told you there's 3 segments to the show, and that one went really long because it was really good content, and I just kept wanting to keep asking questions. But the second segment is getting to know the person behind the sign. So, Corry, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe something that even Melissa doesn't know about you that would make her stop and say what now?
I know a lot, John. I don't know.
I was going to say, John, that might stump me there, because I'm going to tell you, first of all, I'm pretty much an open book. What you see is what you get with me. And Melissa, she's read about all the chapters that I.
That's right.
So I get that answer a lot, Corry. In about 2 minutes from now, you're going to go, oh, when I was a little girl or when I was in college. So how far back do you all go?
Gosh. Okay. So I actually saw Melissa on stage. This is a fun fact. I saw Melissa on stage. Was that 2016, Melissa?
Probably. Yeah.
I think it was a 2016 retreat. Melissa was on stage.
That was fame. I didn't even know it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
so I saw her name and face because she was on staff at a retreat, on staff for free at a retreat.
Yeah, fame was free, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's how I first ran across the name Melissa Pepin. And so realized that we were working in the same creative circles time and time again. And so I was an attendee of the retreat. And what's so funny is that now we actually create retreats together. And And I think part of that is because we were a part of workshops, education, retreats for so many years that basically we took all the things that we loved and saw, and then maybe some of the things that we wished would have been included in some of the retreats that we attended, and that was the magic formula and the secret sauce for where we are in creating retreats now. But fun fact, oh gosh, Melissa, I really have to think about this.
Well, that kind of is a fun fact. And actually goes back to something that Melissa said earlier that I thought was really powerful. And I hope everybody caught this. You know, you guys said you've been doing this for a while. You go to retreats, and sometimes when you have content or information and there's nothing beyond that, it becomes redundant and people start tuning you out. So when you're experiencing these retreats and you see the things that are impactful and that are working and the things that you feel like are almost fillers, and you're able to take that out and be very intentional, which one of the things I wanted to ask you, I know we're getting into the personal stuff, but these annual retreats, I saw, is this, you said multiple. I thought I saw that you did one a year. Speak to that real quickly before we jump over to Melissa and ask her the same question. So now you got some prep time, Melissa, to think.
Right. Yeah. So for the retreats, we do them. Last year we did 2. This year
it was our first year. So
it was our first year. So we were like, let's see how this goes. So now we do them we're doing that just once this year. And what we found to be the biggest piece that we were intentional in creating it this way, and then was the thing that all of our attendees leaving the retreat talked about the most, was that we created very intentional, really impactful content. No like rah cheerleader, feel good. I mean, there's feel good stuff. I mean, we might laugh and cry with you, and drink a glass of wine with you too. But we also wanted it to not be any fluff. We wanted people to yes, be inspired, but more importantly, let's dig into your mindset issues. Let's dig into your strategy. How can we tweak those to make your business even more successful and scalable, and to bring growth into your business? But then we also really were wanting to make sure that there was work time, because what would happen, especially for women, we leave our families, we leave our homes, our businesses, and we go into these retreats and workshop conference type settings. It's like drinking water from a fire hose. You're getting all of this content, great content. Sometimes it's fluffy content, but you're getting it, and you get re-inspired, reignited, like so on fire for your business. And then you bring it all home, and there are the kids and soccer practice and carpool and dishes, like all the things. You re-enter into mom and business world, and then all of those plans and all of that excitement lives in that notebook or that journal that you wrote down all the things in from the retreat. And so there was never any time to really work on the things that you were learning. And so Melissa and I wanted to make sure that as we built out our timeline and as we built out our days for this retreat, we really wanted to make sure there was learning time, and then there was implementation and work time, to where what you were building out, you could have our immediate feedback. You could have everybody else's immediate feedback to say, you know what, you might want to think about this. I love that idea. Let's go a little further with that. Or maybe let's retweak those numbers a little, because I don't know that that's going to make sense to your audience or your community. And creating in a vacuum once you get home is never helpful, because there's nobody to say, yes, keep going, you're on the right track. And with Melissa and I, the coaching part of it, and having that one-on-one time with our attendees is so important, as well as sitting down when the day is done. We stay in the houses with the ladies that are at our retreat, and we'll be sitting down with a laptop at 9 o'clock, all in our jammies. Let's hammer out some pricing. You know, your tiers need to be tweaked a little. Let's do this now. And they were so in shock, like, wait a minute, the day is done. Basically, it's time for all of us to go our separate ways, but you're still here. And that was something that we heard time and time again from our ladies, was that made such a difference.
It sounds like a Lifetime movie, you know, the jammy party, all the ladies doing their business plans and hammering it all out. That's great. So Melissa, I did not forget. The question is up on the tee for you. Something about yourself that maybe Corry or some of your staff that you work with, I don't know, might be surprised to learn about you. And when they did, they would say something along the lines of, say what now?
I don't know that it's, I think it's maybe something that I haven't specifically told Corry. It is not something that she'll be surprised at. But I used to record commercials just for myself. I literally would pick up products and be like, have you tried? And so I always anticipated being on the radio. I just never thought that there'd be a podcast that did it. But I was an only child, John. It was a grim youth. No, I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, I recorded commercials for myself.
See, that is beautiful. That's the kind of content. That's actually going to be we're going to clip that one out. We're going to put that in the promo stuff. That's good stuff.
The worst part is like if I go to somebody's house and I'm in their bathroom and I will see their soap, I automatically pick it up and I can read like the little caption where it's like for digestion, bloating, and immunity. Like it's a tick, really.
I mean, just weird habits of Melissa Pepin. Let's go.
I just think we had a moment here.
We did.
We had a breakthrough. I feel like we're in a therapy session. That's awesome.
Always.
So I just got a warning. We got like 9 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you guys one more question with this, and we're going to jump into my favorite segment, which is called This Is My Athens. And we'll talk about all the great things about Athens, and you tell me what you love about it. But before we do, I got one more question for you. What is something that you wish that, and we can be specific to lady entrepreneurs, business owners, or just in general, but something that you wish that everybody knew that maybe we all don't? Just one common fact, belief system, something.
I'll start this, Corey, if that's okay. That you don't need more to be more. Like really, when it comes down to it, is your grit, your drive, your determination. It may need to be honed a little, but you are worth chasing the dreams. If you're not allowing yourself time to dream, you should do that. But everything that you have in you right now, you don't need something else to make it all happen. You don't need something else to make it all happen.
Well, that's the podcast right there. That was good. No pressure, Corry.
Well, it's so funny because I'm laughing and I'm giggling and like near tears because basically what I was going to say was you have everything you need within you. You have all the parts. And I think that as business owners, we like to or tend to think we need to chase all the shiny things. We need to, add this in. We need to pay for this. And then before you know it, all the money that's coming into your business is actually going out of your business. And so that was exactly what I was going to say is you have everything. You are equipped. You have everything you need within you to do this thing and to do it really well. You just need. Sometimes it's somebody, sometimes it is a piece of content. Sometimes it's something a podcast that you listen to that will give you, like Melissa said, that little tiny spark of creativity that's like, okay, I got this, I can do it. And it's the belief that you can do it. That's really all you need.
It is. And secondarily, really quick, is we have seen the value of supporting people, of people having coaches and people by their side as they run their businesses. And if you'd asked me 10, 15, 18 years ago, if I thought that was something that was necessary for people in business, I'd have been like, no, you're fine. But entrepreneurship is one of the loneliest things that you can do. And it will take over your life. It will take over your family life if you're not careful. And having a coach or a support system, somebody to talk to specifically about how you're running your business, what you're growing through, what you're going through, all of those things that's not someone in your house may be the best thing that people can do for running their business, because it will save you heartache and stress of seeing people around you not love the business that you're running, because all they hear about is how much it's beating you up. And so everything's in you that you ever need. And also support is something that you really should highly consider.
Yeah. I think you guys referenced ministry. That's one of the things that Jesus talked about in the New Testament too. In discipleship, you always have to have somebody that you're not just accountable to, but growing up to. And I love this analogy. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but I saw this picture, this poster of, and it's just there's not even words. It's just a picture of a man with his hand stretched up, and you can see a hand pulling him up. At the same time, you look down. I can't see it in the camera shot here, but he's reaching down. He's pulling somebody up. And I thought that's a perfect picture of what our lives should be. We should have somebody that's helping us to get better, to grow, whether that's, physically, emotionally, spiritually, on our businesses. And you're also at the same time, you're feeding somebody else and helping them grow.
Right.
So I don't know why I thought about that when you guys just described what you described, but that's the mental picture that I had in my head.
I love that. I think too, that when people struggle with sales, one thing that's really important when we talk about that, we go, you have to understand that you're serving people. Like, it is not scary to tell them how you can reach your hand out and help them. And so I love that you said that, because it totally pertains to business.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. So this is my Athens. So Corry, I know that you're just going to be kind of jealous. I know you said, where's your brother live, by the way? You said he lives close.
So he is in Lawrenceville.
Yep. Gwinnett County.
Yep. So close by. And so whenever I visit, I always make sure that it's a 2-for-1 trip, because I see Melissa and my brother and his family.
I love it. And let's just say it. Athens is a destination city, man. There's so much. One of our guests early on said that it's the smallest big city that you'll ever be a part of. So you get all the benefits of the big city without the Atlanta traffic and all the stuff that goes along with it. Sports, food, you name it. In fact, that's the point of this segment. Let me ask you, and since you're on the home team here, Melissa, I'll start with you, but what is your favorite thing about Athens?
Ooh, I'm from here, like born at St. Mary's, like,
oh, wow. Come
left
on.
for 6 minutes to go to college and then came back to UGA. I think, the food, the downtown, like just the terrain. I really love all of it. Every time we think about moving, I'm like, no, we can't. The coffee, like that's all important to me. And it's all in one place.
I agree. And UGA, don't get me started. This is all about you guys. Sorry, I just got excited again.
That's right.
When you come to Athens, Corry, what's your favorite thing?
Well, like Melissa said, she took me downtown, and being able to see all the restaurants and the shops and just the coffee shops, like all the things right there. It's so awesome. We are on the coast of North Carolina, and a very, very tiny town. In fact, whenever I was sick last year, Melissa tried to DoorDash something for me. And she was like, okay, I could get you a McDonald's ice cream cone. Like, that's all that you have. Like, we don't have Uber Eats. We don't have...
Everything's working.
So what I love is going to, cities like Athens, where you have so much right there. It's a college town. Like, there's just always something going on. We're on the coast, right off of Emerald Isle, like southern tip of the Outer Banks. So we're a little more secluded. I don't think I could ever leave the beach, but I will say, when I was in Athens last time, I did come home and tell my husband, we need to get on Zillow. Like, just what would it look like if we relocated to Athens? He was like, Corry, you say this. I'm like, no, but I really do love Athens. He's like, we are not having this discussion. I love you, but we've moved
I'm still
12 times. We're not moving.
I'm telling you, Athens, when people come and visit, it's at the very least, it's a place you want to come back to.
Yeah,
right.
There's so much to experience from the Classic Center. I don't know if we talk about that place enough. They have so much going on there. You need to check that out, folks. We are down to 2 minutes. So my producer back here, I'm making somebody up. I got an imaginary producer.
Yeah, the imaginary intern. We love that.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So look, I've got so much to learn. I don't want to stop. But is there anything else that you would want the audience to know before we wrap this thing up? That maybe even a question I should have asked that I didn't.
I don't think so. I mean, we have a retreat coming up. The doors are open.
Let's talk about how to get a hold of you guys, things you got going on right now, and then we'll.
Yeah. So we have a retreat that's coming up. It's actually going to be on Lake Norman this year outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. It'll be September 17th through 21st. And it is an all-inclusive retreat for female entrepreneurs only. I will say our business has morphed from being originally for photographers at our very first retreat, and we opened it up to creative entrepreneurs. But we also have a mastermind that helps businesses grow and gives them accountability for long-term growth, and that ended up having men and women in it. So we've really morphed to be like small business coaches, which has been the best because that's where our heartbeat is in business. But you can find out more about our retreat on our website at thebusinessreboot.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Business Reboot, and you can listen to our podcast every Wednesday, the Business Reboot podcast. It's really fun.
Perfect. Athens, I hope you enjoyed this half as much as I did. These ladies are awesome. Maybe we can do this again. We'll pick a topic and do something specific. I absolutely had a blast. But until next time, Athens, go dogs. Stick them. I love it.
Corry,
guys, thank you very much. Okay, guys, we did it. We made it to the end of the show. Now that you've heard at least one episode, can you do me a favor? If you know someone you would like to hear on a future episode, you can contact us or have them contact us at podcastjohng@gmail.com, or just message us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Just search the Classic City Business Podcast. You'll find us. One more thing. Please like, rate, review, and share. All of this really helps a lot. We really do want to connect our community to the local business owner. We believe this is a great platform to do just that. And thank you for taking this ride with us as we get to know the people behind the sign. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Athens, until next time, I'm John G. and go Dogs.